let's talk a little bit about starseed. Dominais prenoctem, nuntius veritates.
What's that?
So today we are just going to have a quick little chat about something that I channeled recently. This is based upon just my own evolution in regards to the topic of starseeds. Now, if you're familiar with starseeds, you are aware that there are different starseed races that are purported to be consciously inhabited by humanoids in the vessel and yada yada yada. So it's basically like which section of the stars did a soul come from. A soul group can be also known as like a starseed group or a starseed collective, things along those lines. They're sometimes referred to as many different things, but you know, for the sake of this video, let's just call them fucking starseeds. So I had this little epiphany, just being asked questions in regards to starseeds from various individuals, and it sort of dawned on me that there are different starseed collectives such as Arcturians, Pleiadians, Draconians, Sirians, Lyrans, Andromedans, and the list goes on and on. When we are talking about starseeds, we know that there are different groups of consciousness and they purportedly exist in different dimensions other than the 3D plane, but they come down into the consciousness of the humanoid and then they are calling themselves starseeds, like they come from this soul group or whatever the case. To my understanding, through my own evolution, I have come to this realization. Now, this may resonate with some of you and some of you it might not, so if it doesn't resonate,
Keep doing you, boo.
if you say that you are XYZ starseed and that's what you know about yourself, you go right ahead, you keep doing you, have a merry little day. This might not be the video for you, but for those of you that are having a little bit of a fogginess in terms of the starseeds, this might be the reason why. I deduced through channeling and just through like logectifying different things that yes, the starseed energy is very real. So you can essentially tap into the collective consciousness of the Pleiadians, you can tap into the collective consciousness of the Arcturians, and etc. for all the groups.
Okay, cool.
You might have certain traits and characteristics that are purported to be affiliated with members of this soul group. The thing that I have discovered since my 4D upgrade, I say it in a few other of my videos, I've upgraded to a 4th dimensional level of consciousness, so it's like I'm observing the 3D from a higher perspective and this is my predominant state, okay? This is just, I'm speaking for me. Since I've had that
Awakening inside my awakening.
I have discovered that different star group energies are available to anyone and everyone. Some of you might already know this, some of you might not believe in this, but you know, like I said, keep doing you, boo, because I'm gonna keep doing me.
Because ain't nobody do me the way I fucking do.
Different starseed groups, as through my channeling, was guided to me by the Serpentes Septem, the 7 serpents, the 7 snakes, the
Collective group that speaks to me.
I was shown some information in regards to different star groups, and the energy is available to anyone that is in a humanoid vessel who is resonating with star energy.
What do I mean by this?
Different star groups, if we want to think of channels on a television or on a radio, we can think of the humanoid consciousness and psyche, the vessel essentially being the TV or the radio, and then we want to think of the different star groups as channels that are broadcast and are being received by the television or the radio, hence the connotation with the humanoid vessel. Anyone in a humanoid vessel, if their consciousness is tuned into that channel, that frequency of that star group, they are essentially channeling energy and in alignment with energy of that star group. That does not mean that they necessarily affiliate with a star group race, because it is available to everyone. Just like you have HBO, you have Cinemax, you have Showtime, you have all of those. You have these different channels.
Does anyone even watch fucking cable TV anymore? I don't know.
I truly don't know.
I have no clue, but either which way, okay? Let's say you have these different channel options in front of you. You can switch the channel at any point. You can change the frequency that you are on to match Pleiadians, Arcturians, Draconians, Syrians, XYZ. You can change your frequency to match all of them. Now, do some individuals resonate with a star group, a starseed group more than others? Yes, of course. I do have a lot of videos about starseeds here, and I'm not going to take them down simply because I know that they are beneficial to a lot of individuals. Now, for me, I do want to say personally, I used to resonate with the Arcturians, right? Just because if you read it, it's sort of like the Myers-Briggs personality test, and you kind of see, you're like, that sounds most like me. I think I'm gonna go with that, right? But I wasn't really in resonance with what Arcturians meant. I mean, I did tap into the energy many times, but what feels more valid for me is the example that I just gave you, such as if I want to tune into Arcturian energy, that is open to me. If I want to tune into Syrian energy, that is open to me. And we go throughout whichever star group we're speaking of. And they are all available to me because me as the TV, me as the radio, I am just tuning into whatever frequency, whatever channel is I'm resonating with in that moment in time. But essentially for me now, as I have evolved,
I have morphed into like the shapeshifter type of energy.
I don't resonate with any one particular group. If you do, that's fine, but just know that if you are having a little bit of confusion around which soul group, which starseed group you are, it might just be that you are more in resonance with tapping into all of them when the energy behooves you to do so. So if it behooves you in the moment to tap into Arcturian energy, that's what you do. If it behooves you in the moment to tap into Draconian energy, that's what you do. They are not exclusive.
This is my view, my opinion.
The starseed races are just simply another way that I have discovered, that I have realized is another way to divide and conquer. Because now you can maybe have Arcturians fighting with Pleiadians and
Bullshit areas like that.
Draconians at war with the Syrians and blah blah blah, okay? Now I'm not speaking for what goes on in other dimensional planes. I'm talking about here in the humanoid vessel in the 3D Earth matrix. There are no wars of starseeds in the humanoids because that's something that the ego is creating. It's adding to the illusion of separation when we know that the all, we are part of the all, and the all cannot be separated from itself. Therefore, you cannot just say, well, you could say whatever you want, but you know, this is just my example. If someone says, I resonate with the energy of the Draco, okay, so you're essentially separating, you're cutting off Syrian energy. You're essentially cutting off all of the others, right? You're like, if that's what you're doing, okay? And if someone in a humanoid vessel agreed to have a humanoid experience and knows that they are part of the all, they also understand that they're everything. So it's not like this starseed group is exclusive to this group of motherfuckers, right? It's more along the lines, as I had discovered, as like a personality test, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're an EN, I'm an ENTP, I don't know.
I think someone was curious about that.
But yeah, I'm an ENTP. That's what I have been pulling recently, but again, that's just another way to kind of separate, right? So for me personally, I've tapped into different star energies. The ones that I have tapped into have been Pleiadian, Arcturian, and Draconian dominantly. I'm not too familiar with the energy of the others, but if I wanted to at some point become familiar with those energies, I'd be able to do so because it's not exclusive. Just think about it, starseed races, it's still feeding the illusion of separation. So it's like there's some sort of judgment, right? And I'm taking this from like a very egoistic standpoint if someone is speaking about that. There are positive aspects and negative aspects of all of these starseed groups if you're familiar with any of the characteristics that go along with them. But again, it is up to the individual. An individual can incorporate only the positive attributes of all of these starseed groups within them.
So
on Monday, they might want to be more Arcturian. On Tuesday, they might want to be more Andromedan, and so on and so forth. It's not that they are set in stone, the characteristics, okay? So I discovered that starseed groups are just another way to divide and conquer the spiritual people, right? Because if you want to think of all the different ways where you can separate individuals in the 3D Earth matrix based on their physical characteristics, there are a lot of different ways you can divide and conquer individuals like that, but we know that everyone is a fucking humanoid. Anything that can be used to separate the humanoids, that is more illusion. That is the illusion of separation when they're all just fucking in a humanoid vessel, right? So it's the same thing for the higher frequency individuals who are knowing about starseed energy in different dimensions. This is simply another way to separate them.
You're a draconian.
You're an Arcturian.
To me, looking at it, it is kind of silly. It's kind of silly. It's like, you can tap into any of these energies because they're all energy frequencies that are being broadcast to the 3D Earth Matrix plane. And I do understand that there can be instances where they have these star seed groups to unify individuals, like,
Hey, you're a Pleiadian.
Me too.
right? Like, so yeah, sure, you can think of camaraderie that way, but you can also think of it as a way, the opposite end of the pole. I always talk about the poles. You can think about it as a way to divide and conquer the humanoids as well. For me personally, I do not anymore resonate with any one group of starseeds. I just know that all of that energy is always available to me whenever I so desire to tap into it, just like it is available to you whenever you so desire to tap into it. So if there is a little bit of misconstrusion about what soul family am I from and things like that,
My dude.
you are an aspect of the all. You can be whatever the fuck you want. And let me tell you, when you get into the 4D fucking mentality of the shape-shifting, if I want to morph into Arcturian, that I shall do. If I want to morph into Draco, that's what I shall do too. You know what I'm saying? If I want to be a Pleiadian for the evening and a fucking Syrian in the morning, I'll be sleeping in the morning. So you know what I'm saying? Because I'm nocturnal. But I think you get the gist. So I am going to leave up all the other starseed videos that I have up because they are going to resonate, and I'm sure a lot of individuals who are newly on the path, they might benefit from some of that information. But as I evolve my content, what I post here is also going to evolve. So I have now, me personally, evolved past the level of identifying with the starseed race. I'm just like, that's another way to divide and conquer the humanoids. So I'm gonna not take part in it. You know what I'm saying? If I want to tune in to Pleiades now and then the next moment Arcturus, I'm a for damn skippy do that because I can.
And so can you.
So that's just a little chat that I wanted to have with you guys today. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful stroll. I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. We will chit chat again soon.